Okay everyone, Train School here, and today I'll be showing you how to test the power supply in a desktop computer to determine whether it's time for replacement. All you need to do this test is a Phillips head screwdriver, like this one, and a jumper wire. You can also use a bent out paper clip, works just as well. Now, before I go any further, I will just explain that the main reason that you would want to test your power supply in your computer is if you are having an issue where the computer is completely, utterly dead. Now what I mean by that is you have it plugged into the wall, turned on, you hit the start button and nothing happens. No sound, no power, no lights. Can't even hear the fans spinning up as they should be. Now in this situation, unfortunately, it's going to come down to one or two problems. If you're lucky, it'll be the $30 power supply. If you're not so lucky, it could be a motherboard failure. Now obviously before we start, investigating the motherboard, it pays to do a simple test to check to make sure that the power supply is actually working, because they can and quite often do fail after a couple of years of good use. And this is quite an old computer, probably about 15 years old, so it's probably time for a new power supply anyway. By the way, I know this is an old computer, but this procedure will work for basically any standard desktop computer that works on the ATX standard. Just because of the way that these power supplies are wired up, they all made to be the same to be compatible with different motherboards. If you have a Mac, Apple computers, etc., some different form factor Dells, they'll use a different plug, and so you need to be careful and make sure that it is actually an ATX standard supply, because if you do this test, you will actually run the risk of burning it out. So yeah. Anyway, so what we'll do next is take off the cover. Now, so I'll turn this around. So on the back of this machine, we're looking for the free screws. There they are. Take them off. They usually look something like that. They are case screws. Now we'll slide it that way. So now the covers are out of the way, so what we have to do next is find the power supply. Most computers, top left is where you will find it. It's a thing with all these big coloured wires sticking out of it. Alright, so we'll take it out. Again, this is pretty easy. Although actually, you don't even really have to take the power supply out to do this. You just need to find what's called the 20-pin connector. It connects to the motherboard and it supplies all the power to the main board. So this is it here. Now it's got a little plastic clip. You push down on the clip and pull. Some motherboards latch into these quite tightly, so sometimes it takes a good tug to get it off, so don't be scared. Right, so now that we've done that, all we need to do is take our jumper wire or our paper clip and find the green wire on the ATX supply. On the plug. Now, all that you will need to do is just find the green wire, which is here. Push it in. Don't push it in too hard, because you don't want to damage the plugs. Just enough just to sit in. Paperclip is actually better for this job, but anyway. Now, most supplies will have the green wire, which indicates the start wire. So you just jump it between the green wire and any black wire, which is ground. And doing that basically is the same, or the equivalent, in terms of the circuitry, as what happens when you push the start button in front of your computer. It tells this switch mode supply to actually turn on and start supplying power. So if it's good, you'll be able to verify that. Now, if your supply does not have the green wire, if we count, so make sure that the clip is facing towards you, this clip in the middle, and count 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you count 4 left from the end with the pin facing towards you, bridge that plug, socket, terminal thing if you like, with any black ground wire, and it'll do the exact same job. Right, so now we'll plug it into the back, the IEC cable just here, so make sure that's plugged in. Some have a switch here, make sure it's turned on, it's easy to miss. Now flip on the switch, and if the supply is good, we should hear the fan located here, or the fan should start spinning up. Nothing. Dead as a doornail. Make sure it's in. It's completely dead. So, definitely this supply is in need of replacement. I will say it is possible to repair power supplies, but it's generally not worth it, just because new ones are so cheap, and it generally takes a lot of time. It's beyond the scope of the average computer builder, so most people will just replace them. There's just too many parts inside, and it's not particularly safe either. Well, there's some big nasty capacitors which can store a charge in here, which can actually store a charge for a number of hours even after the power's been disconnected. That can give you a nasty shock. Probably not enough to kill you, but still not. Yeah, just not worth the hassle. We'll take this one out. Now, I fortunately happen to have a spare supply. This one's a bit big, as you can see. This one's a different form factor, we call it. So this is a standard ATX power supply. This is some weirdo form factor that emachines uses. But the plug is the same. So we'll plug it in and see if it fires up. So we'll just put this one in here. Now unfortunately, sometimes when a power supply fails, you can also take out the main board with it. It only takes a surge in the supply to damage some of the very sensitive electronics on the main board. So if you can get access to a spare supply to test it with, it's absolutely worth it, because you never quite know whether or not the main board is still going to, well, the computer is still any good. But this is just a cheapie, so let's see what happens. So got that plugged in. All of these. There's no fans in this computer. Must be quite an old one. Alright. So we'll move this aside. You can see the screen. Hopefully it'll fire up just right. There we go. Emachines. Pretty old. I don't think that company's been around for quite a long time. No hard disk. Don't think this computer's been booted up in about probably 5 or 6 years now. We got it going. So now I have to see if I can dig out some Windows 95 98 discs, whatever it'll take, and see if we can get it installed. But anyway, so it's now up and running, doing a lot more than it was before, so it was definitely a power supply failure. So anyway, that's how you diagnose a faulty power supply in your desktop computer. It's a simple test to do, and it can save you a whole lot of money and hassle and bother if you just do a simple test, and then you can easily verify if your power supply is the cause of the problem, or if perhaps it's something a bit more serious. So yeah, thanks for watching.